Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Player Zone YouTube channel. Welcome back to a video today where I'm going to talk about who I think right now are the title challengers. So in the season, I get that. It is 8 games in and we can get caught up in things. But right now, I think there is 4 genuine title challengers. We saw what happened to Man City in the weekend and the last 2 weeks, just not what we expect from City. That we finally recognise that they are human, but as such, I see there's 3 other teams that can possibly challenge City for the title, and for the first time, it feels like 3 or 4 years, we have got a proper title race and hopefully a wide, 3 or 4 horse race for the title. So let's get straight into the video. We're obviously going to start with Man City. They are the big guns, the treble winners. They've won it 4 or 5 times in the last 6 years. They dominate the Premier League, and it gets boring. I'm sick of City winning it. As much as it pains to see some of the other teams that I think who are challengers, I'd rather see them win it because I'm bored of sitting Man City and Pep Guardiola and that smug bald head winning Premier League titles. But we do it at City. They are the standard, right? They've got all the players there, the system there, and they always find a way to win the Premier League. We saw last year, it was the first sign that a team had actually gone on and been top and pushed them since, I guess, Liverpool, the Liverpool days in the 99-100 point season where Liverpool fell short with that many points. But it felt genuine. Arsenal's title charge was really, really there. It was serious. City had to work hard, but it felt like City were always going to do it. They always had that, the aura of the comeback, the second half of the season, the Gundogan returns, the Rodri, the De Bruyne's that all come up clutch in the back half of the season. But we look at it. There's no more Gundogan. They're losing Riyad Mahrez. KDB is now out injured. Rodri's had his suspension, and all of a sudden the wheels are starting to fall apart. You've got new players in there, Doku trying to make an impact. There's no more Grealish, it seems. It looks like Foden stuck there on the left. And you've got this back four that's basically just centre-backs everywhere. We've got Ake playing out of position as a full-back. You've got Diaz playing. Akanji didn't even play on the weekend. But I said on the watch-on, we were doing the watch-on for the game, they had 5 centre-backs on the field at once. They had Stones there, Diaz there. I count Kyle Walker centre-back because he plays it for England. And Ake there as well. And you look at it and you're thinking, really? Like, this is what they're going with? They're going full almost defence, all these 6-foot pacey centre-backs. Gvardiol was on, he was playing full-back as well. I'm thinking, why aren't we seeing this difference of style for Pep? What is behind it? What is he thinking about it? And don't get me wrong, they got back in numbers and got back quick. It was hard for us to score, and as such, the game was sort of living between the 2/3. It felt like the game was spent so much time with dead possession, I like to call side-to-side possession in the midfield and pop shots from outside the box. But I thought this season would be about defence winning in the Premier League, but it seems like it's costing the attack. And I look at that game against Arsenal on the weekend, 4 shots and 1 on target, the lowest shots they've had under Pep Guardiola since he's come across to Manchester City. The XG was low. They didn't have any sort of cutting edge in the final third. And the eye test, it just seemed off. It just didn't seem like the City we're used to. The City that create continuous chances, can pile on, can pile so much pressure on a team. And Arsenal arguably deserved to win the game. And last year we looked at it and Arsenal never looked close to it. And that's what leads on to the next point, that Arsenal have taken those steps. Arsenal are now genuinely contending with City and can play with City. City could not keep up with it. And it's quite strange. It's the first time City have lost back-to-back Premier League games since December 2018. Now, that is 5 years. There's incredible talent coming in and out, but that is remarkable under Pep Guardiola. They haven't had that for 5 long years. They've been that good and that solid, and that's why there's a bit of alarm bells ringing. Obviously, it's not major, press the red button and it's crisis, but it is interesting that start the season, we know they start poorly, but in recent years, they've never lost back-to-back Premier League games. Wolves beat them in the counter-attack. Arsenal outplayed them. City looked defensive, it looked off, and it's just really signs you that maybe they aren't the team that we're so used to having. So as such, there's 3 other candidates right now that I have that could match it up with them. Let's get into the first one, which is Arsenal. Now, Arsenal's the obvious answer, right? They pushed them all the way last year. They've got Arteta, which is Pep Guardiola V2, right? He's learned from one of the greatest managers of all time and has applied his trade at Arsenal. We talk about it a lot. Flynn on the Away Day show talked about it a lot, the whole philosophy behind it. He gave up big players like Aubameyang. Ozil was gone. He moved players out of the club like Nicola Pepe that, they spent a lot of money on. They try to get these players to work, but he wanted his philosophy to last. And it meant a few seasons that were poor, a few Europa League seasons. Got lucky with an FA Cup because the fans on his back, they wanted him out, but that bought him time, right? And you've seen what's happened with them. They've built a team now. Arsenal are a unit with like the Eddie and Nketiah starting for them. And I don't want to be harsh anymore. He's not a great striker. He probably isn't starting for a team like even at Everton. I think Delbert Calvert-Lewin's a better striker than him. He isn't starting for a Bournemouth because Solanke's a better striker than him. So he's playing right now in a top of the table Premier League team, and it just proves that it doesn't matter who the players are. If you play Mikel Arteta's system, it's going to work. They don't need the big superstar names. Obviously, it helps when you have the likes of Martinelli, Saka. They've got Saliba and Gabriel at centre back. Declan Rice has joined. But I guess that leads on to the next point where their transfer business has been great. Like David Rice come in, a bit of a shaky game on the weekend, but has done very well for the club, a great progression. With Declan Rice there, who's, for me, arguably one of the better signings so far this season. He's gone under the radar. He's not making the $1 million pass. He's not standing out as much as Maddison is and stuff like that, but his impact on the team is equal to those big signings this season. And you think about what could have been with Yuri and Timber. He was great in that Community Shield game, unfortunately to go down with that knee injury. He was a great signing as well. We're yet to see what Kai Havertz can bring, but we're seeing signs very, very good off the bench versus Man City. And it seems every single signing has had meaning, it's had purpose. They're re-signing the likes of Reece Nelson, who are very important to a system, and it's all going in the right direction. And right now, the momentum behind Arsenal is incredible. Like, it is hard to stop. And as a Manchester United fan or as a neutral watching on Sunday night there, it seemed like it is scary to play Arsenal now. And in the past few years, it hasn't. Last year, it probably was to a degree, but you still had that background. It was Arsenal. They were never going to win it. They were going to bottle it. They did do that. But they've made the right changes and gone forward and adapted a few things and covered for the mistakes they had last year to benefit them this year. And we talk about in the podcast, like Flynn's raised a lot as an Arsenal fan. There's a few things this year he wants them to tick off. They've ticked off 2 of them so far, or I guess 3 out of the 4. They've won a Champions League game. They've won at Everton, which I thought their loss at Everton last year was a turning point for them collapsing in the league. And they've beaten Manchester City. And the last thing for them to do is to beat Liverpool. And Flynn said it there, if they don't get smashed up, if they get a win or a draw at Liverpool, he says if anyone can beat them in the league, he'll put his hands up and say, well done to that team. And I'll say well done to that team as well, because they're either going to equal or win the season series in Manchester City. If they get a result at Liverpool, that sets out for the league. They're not giving points to another rival. And right now, they're not losing to those poor teams. And similar to Manchester City, they are playing not up to their level. We saw the long game away. They were off it a bit. They weren't great against Manchester City either, but they still won the game. They battered Bournemouth without absolutely killing them. The Nottingham Forest result, where they had to sort of fight their way through to get a result. They're not at top gear yet. They've had Saka out injured. You got Declan Rice sort of getting his feet wet, getting in the system. They lose Yuri and Timber, one of their better signings. The fullbacks in and out. But right now, it just seems like everything's going their way. If they can continue to win and remain undefeated as they currently are, while still not playing great football, it's a great sign. It's a sign of a winning team. So as such, for me, they are the top candidate to go and win the Premier League this season. My second best candidate at the moment is Liverpool, right? Like, I get what's going on last week. We can talk about that in a little bit, but how amazing is Jurgen Klopp? He has reinvented this midfield. He reinvented the style of play he's gone with. I've said it a lot of times on this channel. They've gone from being a counter-pressing team with work-like midfielders and the likes of James Milners, the Hendersons, the Fabinhos, and just quality up front with Firmino and Salah and Mane. They've revamped that. They've got great creative players in midfield. They're playing McAllister as a 6 and a pivot. They're playing Szoboszlai as an 8 or a number 10. There's just so much attacking options. Harvey Elliott's in the team. And right now, they are just a chance creation machine. They are constantly on the edge of every team's area, on the turnover and on the break. They are one of the best teams to watch right now. You see Salah getting involved. You see Jota when he's playing. Darwin Núñez loves a counter break. And it's just, they're an exciting team to watch. And they've changed their identity a bit. And you might not see the same names and the same faces with that sort of aura that we've had in the past. But this team is a winning team. And any team under Jurgen Klopp has to be a challenger, right? And I've been very impressed. People came out and saying, can he even reinvent his teams? He has never proved it in the past. But he's gone and done that. He's gone and got rid of the old style of play and bring in new players with a different philosophy. And we're seeing like Szoboszlai standing out. McAllister's had a few good games. Trent Alexander-Arnold's had a great bounce-back season from last year. And it's all because his new system that's benefiting his players. He's seen the need to change things up for the benefit of his team, and they're doing that. They're now, the third highest scores in the Premier League at the moment. They're not conceding that many, considering how aggressive they're going. And it's just on the eye test, which I love to talk about. They're just ticking those boxes. And right now, yeah, they might have got robbed versus Tottenham. If they haven't got robbed there, they're close to the top of the ladder. They're only 3 points behind the top at the moment, with a really, really dodgy game versus Tottenham, where the referees basically robbed them out of that result. They had a draw in the season at Chelsea, where teams are trying to get their feet wet a bit, trying to work out their different systems and formations. For God's sake, they're playing Gakpo as a number 10 that game. They had so many attackers on the field, yet they still drew to Chelsea away. So it's great sign so far for Liverpool. I think that's gone under the radar, but they haven't been appreciated how much great work Jurgen Klopp's put in, how much his coaching staff has put in to get this team to play the football that he wants to play. They've reinvented, they've retooled the style, their players and the style of football they're going to play. And so far, it's been a great success. And obviously, they haven't had the big game yet. They haven't played, the likes of Man City, the likes of Manchester United away. We're still waiting on the Arsenal game, but so far it looks very, very good. So for me, just because of the history, because of Klopp, some of the players in that team, they're probably the second likely challengers so far this season. But boy, I'd love to see Liverpool push Arsenal, push City, because all we want is a 3 to 4 horse race, and how exciting that would be for the Premier League. Now brings me on to, I guess, what we call, the third challenger. Someone that it's maybe a bit of a hipster's choice, maybe because I'm Australian, but it's got to be Tottenham, right? Equally, they are top of the ladder at the moment on goals scored. They've played the most attractive style of football. It is Ange ball. It is just like the eye test again. It ticks all the boxes. The shirt's right there behind me because I've fallen in love with this team. It's hard not to as an Australian at the moment. But Ange Postecoglou has changed the whole belief, the style of football at this Tottenham Football Club. You've gone with Nuno, Jose, Conte, with all these 5-back systems, all these wing-backs and boring football. And Tottenham said, we just want our club back. We want our football back. That's attacking style of football. Some of the stuff we saw in a Pochettino with the likes of Eriksen, a proper number 10, in behind a striker like Kane. But now we've got Maddison to Son. It's revamped, similar to Liverpool. They've taken a whole new blueprint, Ange's blueprint. He's not going to sacrifice his system for anybody. He's kept to his guns, kept to his system. And we're seeing the benefits of it already. They've gone so far this season and just change our belief in Spurs. The Spursy type performances, the top Spurs type performances are totally gone now. They come from behind to beat Sheffield United in the 106th minute. For God's sake, 106 minutes and they're still winning games. They got down 10 men to Luton away. They still managed to win after playing 10 men for 45 minutes. And it's just these small results, like going to Arsenal as well and playing the better football than Arsenal. Unfortunately, got the 2-2 draw, but they were the better team that day. It is so many boxes they are ticking. Similar to what I said with Arsenal, there's boxes they need to tick. And they're going about that perfectly. The loss of Harry Kane, so well dealt with by the club, especially by Ange Postecoglou. He said, he didn't want to be here, we move on. And it's the captaincy of Heung-min Son. It's giving the vice captaincy for Maddison. It seems like those two have lived up to expectations. They've taken on the role well, and they're just doing the best they can for Tottenham Football Club. And, you got to touch on James Maddison. What a superstar he has been. Obviously, Tottenham, the third highest scoring team in the league, and only conceding 8 goals so far this season. So obviously the Ange ball system is working, but the likes of Basuma and Maddison so far have stood out. But Basuma feels like a new signing. Barely saw the football pitch last season. I guess not in line with what Conte wanted. You come in this year, Ange Postecoglou says, you're my guy. He holds down that number 6 spot and is playing incredible. James Maddison gets brought in for a great thing, around £45 million. And it looked like an absolute superstar so far this season. Looked like the best he's ever played in his career, it feels like. Assists, goals, week in, week out, constantly a threat. Even to the weekend at that Luton game, that assist to Mickey van der Ven, that little spin, the ball in, lays it into Mickey van der Ven. There's not much he could have done to force it to miss, because it was actually on his plate, on a golden plate in front of him just to put home. And it's the faith that Ange must put into these players, because these are players the likes of Emerson Royale, Udogie, Basuma, Pape Sarr, these guys that last year were basically either nobodies or played some awful football or playing some of the best football in the Premier League. And if you had a team this season right now, you're getting 3 or 4 Tottenham players in there because of how well they've played. And even the signing of Mickey van der Ven, I haven't said about him, I love Mickey van der Ven. He's a pace centre-back, he's strong, he fits that modern role where he can play on the ball, he can keep up with the pacey strikers of the Premier League, and I can't wait to see him and Haaland go at it. I think that'll be a great matchup. But I just feel like so far, Ange Postecoglou and Tottenham have not put a step wrong. And how can I not put them in the contenders so far this season? They're undefeated. They're top of the league after 8 games. Everything's rolling on well for Tottenham. And I think another thing as well, just the momentum, the good vibes at club, that will keep you rolling. They might not go all the way. I don't expect them to go all the way. But as long as they can keep this run going and keep this good momentum going, I'm all for it. And I still want to see what happens when Bassoon is out. Obviously, we'll see that next game because of his double yellows. When Madison maybe be out, when Son's out, how does the team react? Because the depth probably not quite there so far, but all respect to them. They've changed system. They've gone to a fullback. They're playing this aggressive style of football with fullbacks getting to the bar line. They've got this one holding player in there with a sort of in a pivot with the likes of Pape Sarr and Bassoon in there. They've got a proper number 10 again. The days of Ericsson feel like they're back with Madison in there. And they've got Heung-min Son, who's a great player, but he's no Harry Kane. They've got rid of their club legend, one of their greatest players to ever play for the football club, and they've gone and done better without him. It's all credit to the players, to Ange Postecoglou, and right now I have to put them amongst the challenges this season, because the way they've gone about things, the way they've changed things, they're not unidimensional. They're a constant threat. They've beaten Liverpool. They've drawn to Arsenal. They've beaten Man United. They've conquered those sort of games where you got to think, can they get the game? Can they get this game done? Are Spurs into a Spurs and choke this game? They've gotten past all those hurdles, and I look at it. They haven't played Man City yet, and I know that's probably the big step to take. And can they play some of the other teams, the other big teams? Can they get over these smaller teams? But from what's in front of them, you've got to take what we've got in front of us. That the amount of data we get is the amount of data we get. You've got to use that data, and we've got to use these 8 games. And they've been remarkable. They're top of the league for a reason. They're scoring for fun. They're defending so solidly. So I can't not have them as a contender this year. And boy, I'd love for them to join some of the big boys and push this league all the way. That basically wraps up the 3 teams I think will be contending with Manchester City for the title of the season. I know it's early. It's probably going to be Man City by 30 points after all this is being said. But for once, we're seeing Man City not look like robots. They're looking human. They're looking like they're going to make mistakes. So I would just love to see a team push them, because there's been so long of just a one-horse race where City just play this a bit. They just play a bit poor in the start of the season, and then they finally go on and win 20 games in a row and win the league by a long way. But it's about time someone else took the mantle off them. And if it is Spurs, if it is Liverpool, it is Arsenal, as a Man United fan, those are all 4 teams that are going to kill me if they win it. But I don't want City to win it once again. I want someone else to win it. And boy, I'd love Ange Postecoglou to get the Premier League title. That's a well out of the way. But yeah, just to summarise it up, it is an exciting Premier League start of the season. We've had City drop 2 games. We've had 2 North London clubs on top of the ladder. We've got a Jurgen Klopp Liverpool side rejuvenated. And then we're forgetting the likes of Newcastle, feeling like Brighton, Aston Villa, who've played very well this season. And maybe the revenge arcs of Manchester United and Chelsea. Can they push their way back into European contention? Because I just love the Premier League at the moment. It is so open. There's so many results that are possible. We've seen Wolves, who are at the bottom end of the table, beat Man City, the treble winners. We've seen Arsenal, drop points at home to Tottenham, who weren't expected to go there and play their style of football. We've seen Tottenham come back from behind. We've seen Liverpool draw to Brighton. There's so many different storylines this league season so far, and that's why I just had to make this video, because it is going to be so interesting the way the season ends. Guys, if you have enjoyed this video, please smack a like on it, share this with friends. And subscribe to the channel. I want to get this channel growing. I love making these shorter videos where I can just chat one-on-one with you guys and talk what I'm feeling, what I'm seeing so far in this season with the prediction videos, with these types of videos. Let me know if you enjoy this type of videos. I'll try and do more of them, maybe once or twice a week in between the podcasts. I know the podcast, we can ramble forever, so this is more of a concise, focused video. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please enjoy the rest of your day and keep supporting these clubs in the Premier League. What a season we've got up for grabs here. And I'll see you guys for another video very, very soon. See you later.